Shalom. The topic is called About Yahweh. I'm going to read something right here. I did a video about Yahweh. It says, the Yisrael today is walking the same path that Yisrael of the judges and some of the kings walked. Yisrael has always been prone to wander and make it for itself Elohims that are not Elohims, means power, means God. Elohims that are in the creation of their own minds or that of others. Our mighty ones, Elohim, has but one name, and it is only found only where all truth is found. In his word, period. If you cannot find it in his word, then it's wrong. If you cannot find it in his word, then it is the wrong name. His name is not found through the wisdom of man. When he said wisdom of man, that's what he meant. His name is not found through wisdom of man. Encyclopedias, clever Yahweh studies what the Samaritans called him Yahweh, or what the Greek scholars said his name was Yab or Yeb or Yahweh, the English pronunciation. See, when you say Yehovah, Yahweh, Yahweh, or Yahweh, those are Samaritan words. I'm just clearing that up. Okay, I'm going to read the rest of it. It says, for those who have eyes to see, count the letters in Yahweh. There are 6, the number of a man. A lot of people say 666. While in YAHUWAH there are 7. YAHUWAH has 7 syllables in his name. YAHUWAH's perfect number. YAHUWAH's perfect number. That means his name. It means he said, I am he who creates. He exists. You can hear the name. I'll explain that later. For ancient Irbi, it says for ancient Irbi, Hebrew. Talking about Hebrew. Hebrew in the language means ivory or ivory or something like, or ivory or ivory or something like that. Consonants cannot yield a 2-syllable word, Yahuwah, nor can 4. I did a video called the correct names. Check that out. Ivory vowel sounds per nor can 4 ivory vowel sounds per Josephus veiled a 2-syllable word. Yahweh, however, with all of this said, the real test is that the validity, they said the test of the validity of Yahweh. Yahweh is by the word the only true test. What's truly amazing is that the studies of the great name on many of the Yahweh websites sites come to this conclusion. The spelling of Yahweh is acceptable as long as one remembers that the wah has sound and not a hard not a hard wah sound, but this would yield Yahuwah. It's like Yahuwah, YHWH. It's like Yahuwah. That's how it's pronounced. Yahuwah, like Yahuwah, like Yahuwah. A lot of people will say Yahuwah, known as Yahuwah, YHWH. That's in the 4H letters. You can hear his names in the name Yahuwah, which at least contains the Yahu. I am he. That's his name. I am he. That's what his name means. He who creates. I am he. It is also interesting that we have 3 syllables in the cover-up done by the Masoretes scribes. The Masoretic scribes were, I would seem to believe they were Edomites. The Masoretes, half Hebrews. So what did those who wished to cover him up to do? They took 4 letters of YHWH and its 3 vowels and placed it in 4 letters. Their modern vowel point, Hebrew for Adoni. By the way, Adoni is still 3 syllables with 3 vowels. What this shows is that they also knew that the great name had 3 syllables, not the 2 ascribed by so-called modern scholars. This is from the Nazarite.net concerning the name Yahweh. It says concerning the name Yahweh, it is close accepted. It's a close accepted. It can't be. The Father's name in Hebrew is spelled YHWH. YHWH. A lot of people say YHWH, but it's YHWH. That's YHWH. That means He who creates. That's what His name means, the Creator's name. And you're really saying Yahuwah. So now Yod He, Yod, the He is a root. Is a root, and Wah Hey, it's like the Wah, the WH is also a root. But when you add the two roots together, you end up with 3 syllables. Now every 7-year-old kid in the 1st grade in Israel knows this. This is a fundamental rule in a basic Hebrew grammar with the vowel points. YH becomes Yah. Yahu is, Yahu creates. And Wah becomes Wah. And a lot of people say Yahweh. That's incorrect. It's Yahuwah. When you add them two together, when you add them all together, you will get YAHUWAH. YAHUWAH. It's a lot of people say Yahuwah, but it's really pronounced YAHUWAH. It says YAHUWAH. YAHUWAH. YAHUWAH is His name. A lot of people say Yahuwah, but that you can hear His name. And pronounce YAHUWAH with 3 syllables. Yeah, it says Yahoo like Yahoo, but it's really pronounced, when it's with a U, it has a U sound. Yahuwah or Yahuwah, whatever you want to call them, but with the 3 syllables. Another issue with the name Yahweh is that hey, the H can't have one sound one time, then another sound another. Yahweh has the hey as in the first root, and then in the second root. Which is it? Concerning the for a repeat phrase, I am He, which is Anuhu. It says Ani U, first person in Hebrew, and translates into Yahuwah, the 3rd person's Hebrew spelling, and it's a major identifying part of His great name, Yahuwah or Yahuwah, and is for the some reason not seen or acknowledged by them as being of an importance. Notice the text below, just one of the many in which the identifying phrase I am He is used. The actual Hebrew reads just I He, Ani U. The am is placed between these words for clarification. Yazesha Yazesha is Isaiah. Yazesha, that's his name, but in the Hebrew, the Hebraic tongue, it's Yazesha. But if you say in the Paleo, is Yasheshu, is Yashu, I think it's Yashu Yahu, Yesha Yahu, or Yasha Yahu, or something like that. Isaiah. And it's in the Yeshua 52 and 5 and 6, and say, I am He who is self-existence continually. Every day I lament the destruction of my name, that they have to set to blasphemy. And it says, therefore in that day speaks He, certainly my name, they shall know it. They shall know it is He who exists, Yahuwah or Yahuwah. With tears they shall report, behold, from Hebrew. If you know the word behold from Hebrew, I am He. Since I am He equals Ani U or Yahu, then the text above from the Hebrew could read by, and it says could read by as follows: Yezeshua or Yezeshu, Yezeshu, that's his name, or Yezesha Yahu, whatever you want to call him. But I'm trying to pronounce his name in Hebraic tongue. Yezesha 52 and 5 and 6, and saith, Yahu, who is self-existent. Continually, every day I lament the destruction of my name, that they have to set a blasphemy. Therefore, in that day that day speaks He, certainly my name they shall know it, and He who exists, Yahuwah YAHUWAH or YAHUWAH. With tears they shall report, behold, Yahudah. Yahudah or Yada. A lot of people say Yada or Yahudah. Yahudah. A lot of people say Yahudah. That's what they would say, but it's really pronounced Yahudah, Yahudah, Benjamin, or Lewites. I'm saying the Hebraic tongue, but it's Yahudah. While in captivity to Babel and onto the reigns of the Medes and the Persia, were known to those who loved them not as the beard and as the bearded Yahuws. Yahuws. A lot of people try to use Jews, but there's no such thing as Jew. That's an implant, and it's called Yahuws. As many of them had Yahu as a part of their names. Some examples of this are, and you can hear the names. You can hear the names like Yazan Yahu, Yaza Yaun, or Shababastian Yahu, Yigadal Yahu, Masa Yahadu. It says Maze, or I think it's Maza Yahud, or Yashi Yahud. Yeremia. They said Yerim. I think it's Jeremiah says Yerim Uda, or excuse me, Salakia. I'm trying to pronounce his name. I know it says Yirmiyahu, they would say, but it's pronounced Yeremia or Yerim Yeremia. I think it's Yeremia Yeremia. Yeah, that's right. Yeremia Yazesha Yahu Kwam. I think it's Yaum Yakum, Tizak Yakum, and all of these names have meanings. That is some manner describes their relationship to YAHUWAH. Chaspaston YAHUWAH means brightness of Yahuwah, and then Yigadal Yahu means magnified by Yahuwah. And then it goes so on and so forth. It says work of Yahuwah, and then in these names, and that we see the furthermost part of the name of Yahu, Yahuwah, Yahuwah or Yahuwah, not Yahweh. For the name of our mighty one, the only one, is verifying the names of his people. So Shema 20:7, you shall not bring the name of Yahuwah, your Elohim, to naught, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless who brings his name to taught, and ruin nothing besides worthless by wrong or non-use. Mishle is Proverbs 30:4. Who has ascended up into the heaven and descended? Who has gathered the wind in his fist? Who has bound the waters of his garment? Who has established the ends of the earth? And a lot of people try to use this verse, what is his name and his son's name, if you know. They try to use that. He don't have a son. That's an implant from the descendants of Esau. They always want to use Proverbs and 30. They don't understand it. And like I said, there was a son of God. That's a lie. There was no son. It was prophesied Deuteronomy 32:17. Check out my earlier videos. I know where they're going at because it's incorrect. That's an implant. Thou knows. They try to use that as Christ, but that's incorrect. He never had a son. His son was David. Not David was anointed. They try to use that for Christ. So I'm not going to read this madness that they got on the bottom. If you study that, they making up all these names. So I'm not going to try to get to that. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to say, who is Yahweh? I'm dealing with the Creator's name. I'm not dealing with the so-called Son of God. It never was, because there's other scriptures to back that up. They just planted that in there. That's talking about David, not no Christ. The Masoretes text, from which many scholars, Christians, and Messianics get the name Yahweh, using the YHWH of the tetragram, the tetragrammaton, and do not understand that the Masoretes incorrectly borrow the vowels from the Hebrew word for Lord and attach these vowels to the tetragrammaton, and In doing so, they came up with the name Jehovah, like Jehovah in your Bibles, Jehovah, but knowing there is no J sound in the Hebrew, or V like the V. It's a W, not a V, not a V sound in the Hebrew. They eventually came up with Yahweh, to which most cling tenuously. You got many people say Yahweh, and they're going off. They're acting like they in Judeo Christianity, Israelites out there, and that's why they've been cut off with the name. That's right. With a little research, one can easily find that the Greeks called their god, their chief god, Zeus, Jesus, Yeshua, YAHUWAH, same person, their deity. The Romans call him Jupiter. So Romans were worshiping Zeus and Jesus. So that's a Greco-Roman influence, the same name. For he was the chief god. He was their god of light, the sky, the weather, and the god of the state, of its laws and its welfare. Jupiter was also given the name Jove in Latin. Let's take a look at how Jove is pronounced. In Latin, there's no J sound. That's right, Latin, there's no J sound. But in the pronounced like the English, pronounced like the English Y, the short O in Latin sounds like English A. Latin V sounds like the English W, as there's no V sound in Latin. The E in Latin sounds like the short E in English. Now let's see how Jove sound in English. It's like the J is like the Y, and it's a A and a W A. Yahweh, YAHWAH, or Jove. It equals Jove means Yahweh. So Jove equals Yahweh. If you want to know what I'm saying, Jove is Jove is Jove. And look this up. You can look this up at YAHUWAH.net. That's when I got the website. I researched it, and I did my own research. You can find it. But therefore, those who call the Eternal One, the Creator of all, by the name of Yahweh, are calling him by the name of the Roman god Jupiter and the Greek god Zeus. This is nothing less than an abomination, bringing his name to nothing and mouthing the name of a pagan god, and then saying it his name. Here's a challenge from another website dealing with the name Yahweh. In fact, I issue this challenge to anyone who believes the Creator's name to be Yahweh. If you'll send me a copy of the name Yahweh written in Hebrew with the Masoretic vowel points, along with the corresponding location in the Old Testament Masoretic text, where that particular combination of consonant vowels point appear in writing, an article articulates the pronunciation of Yahweh, I will gladly place it here. And I won't say it right here. It says no one has never sent him that dated request. So, and it says note that the Father's name appeared with his Mashiach name is vital, for Yahuwah's Mashiach is Yahuwah's manifest in the flesh, they would say. And beautiful and wonderful truth explains so much the word, and is very easily see throughout the writings of the Tanakh. They said First Testament, and then it said policy. We don't believe in the New Testament. It's a lie. I'm going to skip that, because I'm going to skip the Acts. I don't read the so-called New Testament, the good spell, the gospel. I don't read the note right here. It says, note the derivatives of the name of the Almighty should also be found in the word within the names of his people. All Hebrew names have meaning and often picture of the works, deliverance, and wonders of the Eternal One. YHWH, Yahuwah is deliverance. That's Isaiah. YHWH is Jeremiah. Jeremiah. I call him Yeremiah. Or Yeremiah. That's his name in the Paleo. But the Hebraic and other terms, they call him Yeremiah. That's the term. And Yahuwah will raise up, and are examples of this. YAHWH is 15, Yeremiah 15 and 16. It says, your words were found and I ate them, and your words were to me a joy and rejoicing of my heart. For I am calling by your name, YAHUWAH Elohim of hosts. Means Yahuwah, God of hosts. It says the Lord of God of hosts in your Bibles, but it's supposed to say Yahuwah Elohim, Aluhim, ALUAHIYM of hosts. Yeremiah, or Yahuwah will raise up or appoint it. Note, there are also some 99 others of Ysra'al who have, known as Yasharal. A lot of people spell Yasharal with his name and SH. But this has YH like Israel. It said Yisrael, like Yasharal. It's really pronounced Yisrael, who have Yahu in their names. 72 names that end with Yahu, or 27 names having Yahu at the beginning and one with it in the middle for the total of 100. Yahu, YHW is the spelling of is a Hebrew spelling. It's the Hebrew spelling. They say, okay. Note on the U and the Wah in the Paleo Hebrew and ancient Hebrew is pronounced as U. It is not just simple with a V or a W sound. Rhythms with woo, like Dawood Ray, false name, and Mystery Babylon. Second challenge: can you find one name, just one, given in the Tanakh that the derivative of Yahweh? Let the judge be the blue scriptures from ISR. From some Yahweh people have their own versions, which have been literally tweaked. There will be coming soon at a time of great testing of oppression, tribulation of trial. We will need to call upon the name of the Almighty for deliverance. And if we have the wrong name, there will be no deliverance. Now, this is the time to be sure we know that the name and trust in. Psalms 99:10. Yahuwah or Yahuwah will also be a high tower for the oppressed, high tower in times of trouble. Those who know your name will put their trust in you. For you and Yahuwah or Yahuwah have not forsaken those who seek you. From Yahuwah, like Joel, like Yael or Yael is Joel, the book of Joel 2 and 32. They go into Joel, and his Hebrew name is Yahuel, I'm pronouncing it Yahual 2 and 32. It will happen that whosoever that shall call on the name of Yahuwah shall deliver, for in Mount Tizion, means Zion, Tizion in Jerusalem, and in Jerusalem there shall be those who escape are delivered, as Yahuwah as he said, and has said, and in the remnant those who Yahuwah shall call. And they try to use acts and all that. I won't skip that. That's a good spell. In the first Malachi, Kings 18, and there's a recording of the apostate of the first house of Yasharal, Isbel, Jezebel, and things like that. And then, they're using the good spell. I won't skip all that. Talk about that I'm gonna skip all the good spell stuff. I don't need all that. And I'm gonna read the false prophets. I'm gonna say the false prophets should assemble themselves together and see if they can find in the Tanakh, First Testament, just one the derivative of Yahweh. It cannot be done. Many of the present day prophets of Yahweh or Baal, worshiping Jesus, Yeshua, Yahshua, all those guys, worshiping the idol of idolatry, like I mentioned in my videos. Read Deuteronomy 32 and 17. Newly gods raise up. That's what they worship. Same thing they do in the game with Kings. Baal, Yahweh or Baal are also Nicolaitans, the rulers of the Levitity. Their excuse being that they are protecting their flock from the wolves. However, their real motives Their real motive is to keep the flock under their control so they can be easily fleeced spiritually, emotionally, doctrinally, and some cases financially. I'm going to read it again. It says spiritually, emotionally, that's 1 and 2. I just mentioned spiritually, that's number 1. Emotionally, doctrinally, that's number 3. I mentioned number 2 already. In some cases, the last one, financially. That's right, that's what you see today. Pervasive spirit today. Jacob O. Meyer of the Assemblies of Yahweh states that he is 99% sure that great name is Yahweh, but if he finds out differently from some advanced scholarship, that he will change his position. What an amazing statement. He is denying the word. The only source where one can find a great name he needs to, all as the Yahweh believers should. He, the word that YAHUWAH gave us in YHWH, Isaiah 2 and 22. Stop trusting in man, whose breath is in the nostrils of. For what is he? For what account is he? And from Yeremiah, Yeremiah 17 and 5 says, "Thus saith Yahuwah, cursed is the man who trusteth in the man and maketh flesh of his arm, whose heart turns away from Yahuwah. This is especially true for those who seek into his great name." There are many more just like him who turn their backs. Only the true source of wisdom, the word, where is his name, can be proven. There is a host of different assemblies, congregations, houses of Yahweh, etc., all of which rely on sources for his name that are not spiritual and lean upon the fact that there are so many of us that call upon this name. How can it be wrong? Well, so did all Yisrael call upon Baal in the days of Achab, when Isabel, like Jezebel in the Hebrew, and her false prophets led Yisrael astray. What has happened will be. Nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. That's right. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. As those who say there are many, and it really doesn't matter if we say Yahweh or Yahuwah or any other name of Elohim knows what we mean, he will accept what we say until he makes his name known to us. But he already has. It is in his word for those who are willing to search it out. But if this is how you feel, well, why not go back to back to God, Lord, Jesus, etc. For Yahuwah knows what we mean, and therefore it is acceptable with him. I think not. Yes, it is all about the names, the correct ones. That's right. And this is about Yahuwah, who is Yahweh. And I'm going to try to use those scriptures in Yeshua, Isaiah, or Yeshua Yahu, or Yeremiah Yahu, or Yeremiah. So I use the Hebraic terms, Yeremiah or Yeshua. I know it has a U sound. So with that, I want to say, may Yahuwah bless you many times. I want to say shalom.